There once was a podcast like The Sphinx, marvelous with bits and pieces and odd kinks. But every time you took a dump, wickets would fall in a slump, because none could escape the B&P jinx. Hello and welcome to Bits and Pieces, the friendliest cricket podcast. The problem with cricket fans is that they either take themselves too seriously or they don't care enough about the basic nuances. This is the podcast that asks the question, if for some cricket is a getaway and for others it is a passion, surely there is a better way, an alternative fashion. This is the podcast that doesn't hesitate to bring together the ridiculous and the sublime and try to amalgamate them. Quick clarification, amalgamate, not to be confused with Amal Gamate, who was a middle order batter and off spinner for Sri Lanka back in the 1980s. Welcome to episode 105, dear listener. And please know that you are extremely special because you see, the universe is all about balance. And so while there is a cricket stadium that is yet to be built in New York, that's sold out for World Cup matches later this year, there is also a cricket podcast that has entered uninterrupted into its third year with just one listener, you. You are the balancer of the universe itself, and we must thank you. 105, of course, is too short of the number of overs in the shortest test in cricket history played between India and South Africa. It's a new year and in new lands, an Asian team has won for the first time. And if you're asking the question, is it possible to have cricket on a pitch more underprepared than that one? Bits and Pieces, episode 105 is the answer. I am Tony, and joining me today, he untangles puzzles without WD-40 or lube, whether it is the Gordian knot or a Rubik's Cube. But when he hits the gym to heavy lift with Vim, he tunes into Ravi Ashwin on YouTube. Please welcome the man who is all about business and business schools, shortly going to give a TEDx talk in IIM Bangalore as well. Available without a subscription for you only on Bits and Pieces. Say hi, PGK.
Hi, Tony. It's really, really nice to be here.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man. Happy New Year. It's such a wonderful year to begin. Like a year begins with so much promise. I remember when this podcast started. It's 105 episodes ago. The first episode that we did, if you remember, was also with a lot of promise and optimism. India had just won a test in South Africa. We're like, this is the start of a new era. Let's start a podcast to commemorate it. And here we are, 2 years later, at the same place.
It is nice. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Much like my New Year resolutions. But from TEDx lad to Ted Lasso, the man who sets alive comic cons and quizzes with aplomb. He imbibes knowledge and stays off the booze. Of his killer outfits, there are too many to choose. He's always strutting, but there are two buttons he won't push. They're panic and snooze. Say hi, Brother T.
Thanks, Tony. And once again, Happy New Year to all the listeners also. Or the listener, as you said, one listener tuning in. I want to clarify one thing that I was there on the IPL auction episode a couple of episodes ago, and one of our superstars in the podcast, Nitin, said that I displayed an amazing lack of not knowing what the auction was about and yet being on the podcast, which I took absolute offense to. So I'm back on the podcast to prove to him that I don't know anything about the rest of cricket also.
Yeah, we've been doing this for 105 episodes. Also joining us, a stand-up comedian and an actor who has shared screen space with Rajani and a robotic woman. And also a cricketer in the European League. Let me just say, there once was a man who moved to Porto, a stud whom everyone booty calls when blotto. If you belong to his hive, you're blessed to be alive, for a non-stop stream of funniness is his motto. Say hi, Murali Sargopan.
Thank you so much, man. Absolutely blessed to be part of this panel. It's been a while, so I look forward to listening to all of us not talk everything but cricket.
Tony, one mild correction. It was Rajni that shared screen space with Murali.
Oh! Key, important clarification. Superb.
Thank you, Tony.
But my number one New Year resolution was to not write bad poetry, which I've broken for the sake of this episode. My number two New Year resolution was to only speak good things about people. But this next panelist has made it impossible to do so. Much like his geographic location, his ranking in terms of cogent cricket arguments are down under. Let me just say, Boring Dean Elgar has finally retired. Phew. David Warner has hung up his boots too. On the Yarra River bank, a crowd looks up to Hank and asks, when, oh, when will you? Say hi, Mohan Krishnamurthy, if you must.
Tony, if just for that intro, I'm going to say never. Never going to retire. I'm really happy to be here. The first episode of the third year of Bits and Pieces. I was on the first episode of Bits and Pieces 2 years ago when we started. It was when the Bits and Pieces jinx was born. I'm happy to be here. But since then, in the very next episode, when we wanted to do a podcast, Kohli did a stump mic podcast for us and destroyed our podcast already. And now, of course, Ashwin is doing podcasts regularly. So I don't know why we are doing these things, but we're here. Thank you for that intro.
Again, blaming Ashwin for no reason. I mean, poor fellow started it in like 2020 during pandemic, locked indoor. He said, "Chalo, I'll start talking to other cricketers and putting that video, just like us only." But no, Ashwin is the problem. No.
See, I think PGK and I will agree, Mohan, that it is great that you are happy to be on this pod because someone should be. Oh man, okay. What a
rousing start.
Interesting week of cricket it has been. And what better place to start than with the domestic cricket in India, where Bihar is to determine whether the president or secretary is more important. And as a decentralized podcast, we will know the importance of having many different leaders. But who should align the stances finally and which team gets picked is something that Bihar displayed today, where two teams apparently showed up for a match. As our domestic cricket expert, Hank or Tareque, one of you, please tell us what happened and what is your take on this whole thing.
Brother T, why don't you go?
No, I think this is nothing new, I guess, in some senses, but also a lot of people discovering the state of cricket administration in some of those some of the states. Because I think the first piece of news that came out was somebody posted a video of where the match was supposed to happen, Bihar taking on Mumbai, and the stadium itself, which was in pretty bad shape. The turf, the playing area seemed to be okay, but the stands and everything was absolutely dilapidated. Somebody was like putting out a clothesline there, drying clothes out in the open. So that's where you're starting from, and then the news came in that
where was this match? Was it in Bihar or Mumbai?
It's in Patna, so the match is supposed to be in Patna. So that's
no. If it was in Mumbai, I would have understood. Like clothes, you can't dry in apartment spaces and all. You need, like, real estate is the issue. So wherever there is domestic cricket happening, which is not televised,
but it had to be. See, it's the thing, right? If it was in Mumbai, it would have been great because two teams would have boarded the train and they would have gone, or plane, or whatever it is, however they travel. But suddenly it is in Patna, and suddenly two teams rock up. It's hilarious.
So wait 1 second. So at what level was this, brother T? What was the level of this game? What was it? Was it can't be a Ranji match? It's not a Ranji match.
Yeah. Well, guess what? It is a Ranji.
It was.
It's a Ranji match.
It's a Ranji match.
Oh shit!
What happened is,
sorry, I didn't know.
It's a Ranji match. For the Ranji match, the president and the secretary.
Yeah, I thought it's a first division match or something like that. I didn't realize it was a fucking Ranji match. Oh shit! This is a Ranji game.
I'll give you the scale. You remember that video Rahane put, right, saying that he's preparing for the Ranji Trophy, right?
Yeah.
That game, he was going to captain in that. That's why making the video, he got injured and never played this game.
Oh, he got injured. Someone was saying,
yeah, he got injured.
Picked here also. So.
Oh, otherwise Ajinkya Rahane would be there at the ground waiting for two teams to come and decide who to play. Ajinkya Rahane be like,
but
I
the
was
thing is,
the Gaba. I won the Gaba from there. I have come.
But
here.
it would have brought up nightmares of Ajinkya Rahane playing in Azad Maidan where 14 teams are playing each other. That sort of thing may have happened. But the unfortunate thing is, if the match had gone ahead, imagine Bombay playing two teams in parallel.
I'm glad Ajinkya Rahane was injured. Sorry, brother, continue. It was a Ranji game. Interesting. I think you missed that detail. It's an important thing.
No, but so one thing here is this is a clash between president and secretary. And finally, the team that played was the team that was picked by the president. And the other team apparently had the blessings of secretary Anil Kumar and was left high and dry. I'm not sure if it's just the clothes on the clothesline or the team itself. Only jerseys were there. But this guy, the secretary, has an important, interesting point. Have you ever seen a BCCI announcement where the team is announced by President Roger Binney? No, it's always been announced by Secretary Jay Shah.
Yeah.
So see, this is important. Like who like we talk about DAOs and all that, but even in hierarchy, no one knows who's more important, president or secretary.
No, I think they were contending that the secretary has precedence in matters of selection as compared to the president, which is why that team should have played and things like that. But finally, I think the team selected by the president was the one that was ultimately the one that took the field.
Yeah.
I have a question here. I do understand. See, I played a little bit of cricket in my life where there is a captain, they have picked 11, there are 15 players. 4 people have been kept on the side. They don't know if they're playing or not. I understand. 2 entirely disparate teams, 2 captains, both teams fully confident they are going to play for a Ranji Trophy state team just astounds me. Like, how did all these 11 believe that 11 other players who are all state capable were also available for the team?
No, but I think there are overlaps between the 2 teams, no, Brother T? Or is it like 2 separate levels?
Yeah, that was my question. How is it that you could make 2 teams, like 2 people? How at least one player must be common on both lists? I mean, it can't be that they are that they're completely like they can't even agree that this guy is good. We should look beyond politics and put this guy in the team. No, not even one person, is it?
No, I think there were completely different teams.
Oh yeah, wow. Okay.
They had different captain. I know. A whole other dude believed that he was leading a whole team of 10 and all of them did not get to play. I'm still stunned that this happened at a state level team. It happened to the first standard school team itself. Those people will be really upset. They'll be like, come on, PT sir, how did you not know that level of my friends were playing and Roshan was the captain?
So speaking of school teams, Murali, the other team apparently had a 12-year-old also. I think the team that played like the president's
This
team.
is Vaibhav Jaiswal or something his name is. No, Suryavanshi. Vaibhav Suryavanshi is his name.
Okay.
He's a 12-year-old who was selected for
but did they check his birth certificate later and say he's 14 or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, like all of this clarification.
But he was selected for the team that did not play. But in the end, I think he played.
My God.
If I'm not mistaken, he actually played. And the interesting thing is all of this drama was happening apparently in front of a packed stadium. So the stadium, our test matches don't get packed stadiums, especially.
So nobody was drying clothes there, was it? So yeah.
No. So one part of I think one of the stands is basically entirely abandoned and dilapidated. That side, the other stand seemed functional. The video, I think I'll send it for the show notes also. If somebody wants to take a look at the video. Add the latest score update for the Mumbai Bihar game. So Mumbai went all out for 251 in the first innings, and Bihar, I think, ended the second day at like 90 for 6 or 89 for 6 or something like that. In fact, the 12-year-old is only the 3rd batter in the Bihar lineup to have gone past double digits.
Hey, this is much better than the South Africa-India game. Moving on to packed stadiums where clothes are being dried to a city where a new cricket stadium is going to be built. Possibly the only real estate will be a laundromat somewhere. This is in New York, where in 2024, apparently 8 games are supposed to be played within 10 days in a stadium that doesn't exist. I mean, we know that cricket is a game of glorious uncertainties, but Hank sir, as this operations research consultant.
No, well, this is just way too glorious for me. And the only thing that might remain is the uncertainty, which might actually prevail. It's bizarre in so many ways, and it's a catastrophe. It's a train wreck that was happening for a long time. Several countries in the West Indies said they can't host. It's a loss-making proposition. And so more and more games started moving to the US, and suddenly New York is left with some 10 games or something like that.
Eight games in 10 days.
8 games in 10 days. And what happened is that they initially said that they might hold it at one of the baseball grounds. And if you've seen a baseball ground, it just doesn't work for cricket. And so I think they've decided to build a new stadium. Why? I don't know. But maybe they feel that I wish Mayur was here because he knows all these leagues really well. But they would have felt that the US Premier League or whatever it is that that thing is called will take off in a big way. New York already has a team, so they said, okay, let's build a stadium. But the thing is, they don't have a stadium, they don't have a ground, they have nothing.
Yeah.
And because of all these games being cancelled and all these other countries pulling out of the championship, everything has moved to New York, and we have an absolute disaster. Now, this stadium has to be built in little under a year. There's absolutely no
Under a
chance.
year
I-
in June.
I know.
Less than 6 months.
6 months or something.
Yeah, which
So
is also
they'll have
after
to
a
push-
year, but
I mean,
Key mathematical clarification.
It's not going to happen. I just don't think. It's just not going to happen. It's just crazy.
I mean, you can get Kevin Costner along, and even then, it's not going to happen.
So interestingly, they've not mentioned New York City. So maybe New York State, there might be some like random place available where people can sit on grass
It
banks.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You can't build a stadium in 6 months or 8 months or something like that. It's just impossible to do. Unless
Mohan.
we do the old style Indian grounds with bamboo and all erected and bamboo stands and stuff like that. I don't know if you've ever seen a test match or match in those kind of stadia, but unless you erect temporary stands, either not bamboo, because you can do steel claddings and all that sort of stuff. I can't see this happening at all.
Mohan,
You
when
can
I
do the
say
pitch.
When
Pitch
did
is
we?
not a
When
problem.
did we? Once again, when did we become a manufacturing podcast? I'm just trying to understand. You're actually solving the problem. I like this. One sir is like, you can't do it, but if you
Well,
had to do it,
Key
Yes,
fact,
no,
the only
Mohan-
way to do it.
Yeah, no, but Mohan is the eternal optimist. I don't know if you know this. As much as he hates the IPL, he's pitched multiple schedule optimizations to the BCCI. Who are like, hey, who wants optimization? Or please go away. But Mohan is still the optimist. So if he's saying this is not going to happen, I
it's
don't know.
not like they were like 75% done constructing. 2 stands are pending where they just have to put the chairs and all. I googled that they have built nothing. There is nothing on the stadium. It is a field of green. Like literally Jerusalem College backside, the kids playing area had a few more substructures than what I'm seeing. How
For
are they
the
going to make
benefit
a
of our,
stadium in this place?
For the benefit of our folks listening to this on podcast, an audio podcast channel, Murali has just put up a shot of the outfield of the cricket ground in which this is going to be conducted, and the Dharamsala fungus-laden ground looks 100 times better than what we're seeing on the screen.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. My God. Yeah.
This is like
so-
so. Basically, this
so
is
who
like
is- who is booking
their allure.
tickets?
Their allure is this.
Correct.
This is their allure. Okay.
Nassau County is New York's allure now.
New York's allure ground.
Key question: Who
sure
is
their
booking
contract-
tickets for the 2024 World Cup match between India and Pakistan, which will happen in Indore Stadium? That is
I
where
think
this
they
is
have
going.
an Indian contractor for sure. I think whoever is this US Premier League guy told some Indian contractor, hey, find one ground. Abey ground dundlo. This guy found
Have-
a ground. That's it.
Have
It
they
is
locked
round.
the schedule of the 2024?
Yeah.
They have,
They have.
they have.
And
That's what we were
and the
discussing. Otherwise-
India Pakistan game is supposed to happen here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Lovely.
In that
By the
parking
way,
lot is
PGK, they locked the schedule for that before the World Cup
Correct.
23 schedule.
World Cup was
released.
centered around that match, basically.
No, I'm saying they locked that schedule before our 50-over World Cup in India was scheduled.
That is true. That is true. That is true. Of course, you're
It's
right.
possible. But around the T20 World Cup schedule, Brother T, I believe you have an interesting trivia to share. Tell us, what is the first match of the 2024?
Oh, the first match is USA versus Canada, which, as a lot of cricket trivia enthusiasts know, was the first so-called international match between two countries to have taken place. Well, back in the day, I forget the exact year. So there will be a reenactment of that, I guess, to kick off the tournament. And like somebody pointed out that this is the first time two associate countries are playing the opener at a world event in cricket. So that's interesting. They've had I think they played a T20I some time back. It was a pretty close one. So if those things are anything to go by, we should have a great game. But I think even this game is also scheduled to be played at this godforsaken stadium. So
I mean, they'll definitely shift it out. They'll do some shit.
Yeah.
Might as well do it at Madison Square Garden. Like, because that is anyway. But it's not a cricket ground. It's okay, man. Just do it. Let's do it here. It's fine.
Only
Anyway,
the
it's
crowd
a-
matters.
Yeah, only the crowd. It's a spectacle anyway. You do whatever shit you want to.
Whoever cheers the loudest can win.
Correct.
Speaking of underprepared international wickets, let us move to PGK. Do you want to start with Rohit Sharma rant or an analysis of the India versus South Africa 107 over test match, whichever you want to go?
I think we'll start with the test match because that is Rohit's this thing rant is also a lot of fun, but I think you should start with this match.
Yeah, so let me set it up for you. The last 3 times India won a test match in Australia, England, or South Africa. No, go ahead. R. Ashwin wasn't part of the 11. PGK, your thoughts on India's glorious win in R. Ashwin's absence from the 11. In Newlands to draw the South Africa series, I think for the first time in the last 2 attempts.
This is really cruel. You invite him to open, and then you set it up, and this guy doesn't know where to go or not go.
Yeah, it's like Dean
fine.
Elgar being given a home test match as a send-off. He's made captain. Then they dug up the pitch and made 2 cows put absolute 30 on it, and then they're like, okay, you bat on this. This is exactly the treatment I'm giving to PGK.
See, the thing is, just like Rohit Sharma, I am okay with this. I will not complain about this if you do not complain about Ashwin when he really gets wickets for you. Okay, because that is exactly what is happening here, right? Look, let's see the thing. Mohan sir started by basically saying, we basically, Ashwin, thanks to Ashwin, this podcast did not become #1 podcast in the world, right? And I look, Ashwin started earlier. This thing. You saw Ashwin do it, and that is why we've said, we can also do this. If Ashwin can do it, we can also do it, right? So you appropriate him, and then you do all of this, and then you basically take a dump on it and say, no, this fucker. So anyway, same thing is happening here. Look at it. It is such a happy occasion. India has won a test match. It has not just won a test match, it has won a test match in style. It has demolished the opposition. It has won a test match in a completely new place. They've never won at Cape Town. I have been to Cape Town. I have seen the Newlands ground going past when I was in a train, and always I'm like, damn, this place, India, I wish we can win a test match. And all of that has happened. And yet we are discussing Ashwin not being in the 11. This is the Ashwin treatment. Hence, case proved QED. No, but honestly, great test. I loved it. It was very nice.
Yeah,
I think after a long time, I saw great fun, very short and very quick, but moving back and forth so quickly. A short test match just got over before I even realized it.
Yeah, not just your dream as you passed through the train, but also the dream of Sachin Tendulkar, as Prashant DP has pointed out, which is to have 4 innings in 100 overs, right? His proposal for a one-day international. But before I throw it to Murali for analysis of the test, Hank, a quick trivia question for you. Who hit the winning runs in this very low-scoring test match in South Africa?
Okay, that's fine. I can take it. See, someone needs to do it. Someone has to do it.
Say some nice words about India's greatest number 4. Say it. Come on. Number 5, sorry.
But the thing is, like, anyone could have gone there and hit those winning runs. They were beaten in the Settapam Adikara Mari, right? That sort of stuff, right?
But that is the point, Mohan, sir. Anyone could have gone and hit the winning runs, but he did it.
But yeah, I'll come back. I have some views on this, but I'll come back to it. Murali, go for it.
No, I just wanted to say you can't write Ashna out of the second test. He was there. If you remember, after the second innings, when India are going to win, the test is over. There is no test series in sight. Ashna is padding up to go batting practice in the nets during this test match. I was like, how much more relevant can you show yourself during a test match, dear Ashna? It requires talent, Raviji.
Yeah.
No, but the thing is that he actually increased the relevance. He actually increased the relevance in another direction. Okay. Now he has completely given up. Okay. To the point where previously he would sulk, then he would talk a little bit at the end of a series, then he started talking in the middle of test matches. For the first time, he's actually made a video during a test match, like, good morning, today is day 1. Okay, this is what is going on. Next day, one photo outside. This is day 2. These are my thoughts. I'm like, dude, now you have become press secretary. What is left now? Now you're really doing this thing for
But the best part of that day 2 is, he says, "Hi, Makaya, how are you doing?" And he welcomes Makaya into the podcast and everything. Oh, amazing.
No, but key thing about what Murali mentioned was, I think at the end of the first innings of either South Africa or India, Ashna went out to bat, right? And Srinath Sripath couldn't join us, but he did send us a voice note, which I'm just going to play for our video listeners. We'll splice it in for our audio listeners.
Hey, Rabada, எங்கேந்திரா வந்த எங்கேடி எங்கேந்திரா வந்த இந்த பசங்க போட்டு மண்டையை உடைக்கிறாங்களா அதான் ஒரு கன்கஷன் சப் வரும்ன்ட்டு நெட்ஸுக்கு போய் நின்று நம்ம ட்ரெயினர் ஒருத்தர் இருப்பார் ஸ்ரீலங்கன் லெஃப்ட் ஆர்ம் ஸ்லிங் ஒருத்தர் செனரத்னேன்னு அவரை வச்சு பவுலிங் போட சொன்னேன்.
Yeah, well, they say you can't keep a great player out of the game, and Ashwin's certainly proved that.
But this kind of stuff, right? Sending a message saying, "I'm getting ready for the next tour, even if I'm not playing in this test." A lot of people are doing it. Cheteshwar Pujara is putting video after video of him batting in the nets.
Ajinkya Rahane, yeah.
Ajinkya Rahane also. Everyone is putting these scenes. So let Ashwin also put, let PGK have a smile.
Yeah, for some sane analysis, let's throw it to Brother T. Did you watch the test match, bro?
I did watch the test match. The funny thing was the rate at which it was going, most of it was happening while we were at work. So it was kind of hard to keep up, but we generally keep it running on the side. I think I really enjoyed the first innings, the kind of riposte India had after what happened in the first test. Amazingly, India have done this in test series, particularly overseas test series, often. I had this delusional thought that back in 2011, when we visited England after the first test fiasco, in the second test, I think we reduced them to like 80 for 7 or something like that in the second test, before sort of allowing Stuart Broad to get away with some runs. So I was just worried that this does not turn into one of those situations, but it was great to see them blow them away for that lowest score. I think Siraj particularly, like, I think after it took about a couple of wickets, I was saying that this looks like Asia Cup finals Siraj redux in test, because it was.
So the weirdest part of this test match is that, for me, right, Brother T, is that it feels like the roles were reversed. This is usually the kind of test match how India gets crushed in. They're on the other side. Like, you basically come into bat, it is the first morning, opposition bowlers have it, 55 all out. You're like, okay, I have seen this nonsense, this script I have seen. Then they come, fine, it's a tough pitch, but they get some score. Then in the end, they comfortably chase, losing no wickets or 1 wicket. There, Shreyas Iyer will go and hit 1-4 and finish the game. And then you will be like, what nonsense is this? For the first time, it's like the other way around. You're like, wow, this is weird. I've never seen this happen. So I think that is also probably the surprise factor.
No, I think this is a test match, like you referenced the joke about going to take a dump and coming back and saying that 6 wickets have fallen and things like that. I think the couple of passages like that, because the South Africa 55 all out was like that, because I think we went into a meeting, came back and realized that India is already batting, or like we've gone into lunch. And in the Indian innings, it was not even a meeting. I think I had dropped in for a quick chat with somebody, and I come out and I see that it's suddenly gone from 137 for 4 or something like that. I was waiting for KL to get off the mark. I was worried that, KL should get off the mark, because otherwise he kind of gets jittery. And the next thing I come and find out is that they're all out. So I think one thing, I mean, I know that this has been a short test, and obviously there are a lot of criticisms about the pitch and things like that. But sometimes I think, like PGK mentioned earlier, that it's great fun to watch absolutely unhinged tests like this, where things are just happening like in the backyard. Like, if this were happening in the backyard, we'd probably do like a rematch, saying, okay, this is a bit much. So that was one fun aspect to watch. But again, I think one great thing about this test match was that the 2 standout performances are sort of an indicator of what has been behind India's success overseas mostly. It's that Siraj's 6 for in the first innings and Bumrah's in the second, which I think are like great, let's say, bookends to the win, because a lot happened in between also. But that's what set it up, and couldn't have happened to two nicer guys if you kind of think of it that way.
Nice reference to bookends over there, brother T. Okay, so I have a few things to say here, right? Number one, we talk about the pitch, and yeah, inevitably we will talk a little bit more about the pitch. The one thing is that Dean Elgar retired in this, and Tristan Stubbs, I think, made his debut in this. Both of them got out twice on day one. If I remember right, Stubbs got out on the first day twice, right? But definitely, both of them were batting twice on the same day. That's incredible, and that's a measure of how crazy this thing was. I wish this was a 3-test series, and BCCI just, I don't know why, but just refused to go down the path. At least for some of these marquee series, they should do a 3-test series.
Hey, just because Nitin is away, you're like slagging off BCCI.
Yeah. Of course, I have to get
cricket
stuck
South
into
Africa
BCCI.
thing. No, they're only going to play 2-test series from now on. Brother T can tell us.
Yeah, but I think we should say, look, I mean, we need to play 3 tests, and because inevitably what will happen. This is exactly the point I think Nitin was trying to make in the previous podcast, which wasn't allowed. Where you're saying, we absolutely, apart from once, I think, when we actually won that first test of a series, we generally do not play well in the first test of a series. And that becomes somewhat like, hey, Iman, oh my God.
He heard BCCI.
We have a new challenger. Okay.
Okay, I'll finish. I'll start again.
Accept challenge. Yes. No. It's like that video
again.
game. No, suddenly what
Oh my God. Iman has entered the chat.
Okay, so you want to introduce Iman, or just I continue my rant?
Just go. It's okay.
So we always start tours poorly. So, having a 2-test series is just meaningless, because the first we're going to lose. We're going to lose it anyway. Almost every series in the recent past, we've lost the first test. So why would you
give the first one to Ganpati that way?
Exactly, that sort of stuff. Break a coconut, give the first one to Ganpati, and then put chili and all that sort of stuff for all the kannu to go away, all the evil eyes to go away, and then play the second test and start winning from there. That's been the pattern. You know that. So why would you play a 2-test series? It's just stupid. And you're the most powerful board in the world. You can say, we want a 3-test series. That's how we're protecting our World Test Championship points. Whatever excuse you want to give, right? Give that and play a proper 3-test series. And I agree, we should play proper preparation matches and so on. And there's no space in the calendar, but do it. Come on, you can actually do this in a much more effective way. Given that we played that first test badly, you had to bounce back, and how well this team played and bounced back. The other thing that I want to say is that...
Once again, I'm reminded of a king who once traveled in the back seat of a bus, and like the ride was extremely bumpy, and he was asking his ministers, what nonsense is this? And the king was told it is because it is the last seat of the bus. That is why it is bumpy. And immediately the king made a declaration that from now on, no buses shall have last seats.
Correct.
If at all it has to be a last seat, it has to be right in the front. That kind of logic.
No, not quite like that. And you're reducing it to some stupid stuff, which is your want. It's okay. But the thing that I do want to say is that in this test match, in the second innings, we're talking about a stupid, terrible pitch and all that sort of stuff. One guy scored a superb century. And that was an amazing century. Figure that out. I mean, how do we explain that thing happened? It was chanceless. Maybe 1 or 2 edges, but overall it was a fantastic century.
Oh, hold on. Cricketing View is entering the chat. What? If 1,000 people take lottery means one guy will win? No.
Well, exactly the point. That's exactly my point. It wasn't a lottery. Everything was played perfectly well. It wasn't a lottery. So some things happened there. One guy had the technique to combat this pitch. It was, of course, a terrible pitch. If a match finishes in 107 overs, whatever people want to say, It was a horrible pitch, and perhaps that's a nice lead into the Robro rant.
No, before that,
before-
one thing that I want to get opinions from Murali and then Iman on is that finally, thankfully, we don't have to see the face of Dean Elgar anymore. Like Hank sir was saying, Dean Elgar batted twice in the same day. Been used to seeing him bat same innings for 3 days, and like score hasn't moved only. Like, like if you had left in the morning and seen Dean Elgar on 0 and seen Dean Elgar on 0 again, at the end of the day, you'd have been like, oh, same innings only. Thankfully, it was second one. And we don't have to see Dean Elgar anymore. Murali, your thoughts on Dean Elgar's final test and his send-off?
Before the send-off is something I really want to talk about. We'll talk about Dean Elgar, the player, in detail. But what is suppose the Indian
No
team
need.
acting like Narendra? Indian team has acted. It's begun to act like Narendra Modi. You know how Narendra Modi go to somebody's house and as a gift give them a photo of Narendra Modi. Like that, we are also going to all the tests and giving people signed jerseys of our players. When I go to like this kid's birthday party, I'll be like, you all stand, I'll give a photo, group photo of you. You can't go to that party, give a group photo of me. Like me and my friends, you can keep this as the photo for your birthday. Like that guy is retiring. Why do you want their signatures? I don't want them. I know every player goes. That was Nathan Lyon looked so confused. Why am I getting this? I didn't even get that 600th wicket or whatever. Why am I taking a jersey with all of your signatures? All of your checkbooks are already full anyway. Like this is such a confusing gift to give for people. Like I haven't understood it. Somebody explain it to me and why they gave it to Dean Elgar of all people.
The weird part is not just like, fine, you can take this gift if the names on it for like, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma. Prasidh Krishna
Ravichandran
signed it, dude. What are you saying?
Imagine Dean
Dean Elgar has a jersey at home. He has to frame with Prasidh Krishna's signature on
Kids
it.
come and ask, that must be a legend you have played with. They've signed it with you. That man, Prasidh Krishna. He does not even know how to bowl straight. I don't know if he can hold a pen. Unfortunately, I have his photo in my house, framed also.
Oh, man. Iman.
So wait, I just
on
have to
this.
say,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, it's like they're saying that Sachin Tendulkar's name is not on the honors board. Whose loss is it? Same way. Whose loss is it that Prasidh Krishna is on the
This is the universe balance that we were talking about in the intro. Yeah. For every Sachin missing on the Lord's honor board, there is a Prasidh Krishna signed jersey in Dean Elgar.
Because Elgar every day is
Beautiful.
going to sleep looking at the autographs of Prasidh Krishna, Mukesh Kumar and Shardul Thakur. He is wondering, why am I going to sleep looking
my
at this
God.
thing in my bedroom?
Yeah, actually, I think of it in a little different way. The Prasidh Krishna and the Elgar relationship. Now, if you think of it, right? India created a test series. We funded the ground, we funded the stumps, the wicket, the cricket, the bat, the ball. We paid for everything, right? Top to bottom. And we created a series so that we could give Elgar. The only thing elegant about Elgar are the letters E, L, and G in his name. So, yeah, so we created a series just to give him a nice send off, plus, manage the cricket South Africa's financial issues and stuff like that. So now we sent Prasidh Krishna only for that purpose, right? That, hey, this is Elgar's last series. Why don't you bowl? Bowl in a way he can score at a rate in which he has never scored in his life. So Prasidh managed to do that. He has never scored that fast. He was so surprised. Like Elgar hitting cover drives and cuts, and he's like, boss, what was I doing? And he actually told to a reporter that maybe all my life I played wrong cricket. I think that's the way I should have played cricket. But he does not know that behind all successful retiring players, there is one amazing famous player, and that player in this case is famous Prasidh. So that is around Prasidh and Elgar. The second part is to which the Hank was asking, why 2-match series? Hank, this is pure math, yeah. See, listen. This is where the logic comes into play. We funded this series, our money, our wickets, our bails, our balls, our balls, yeah, and our bat. Now, let's say if we end up winning 2-0, how will it feel? Arey yaar, ye paisa deke khud jeet gaya. Feels very odd, right? So what did we do? We went there. We created exactly an opportunity to make it a draw series. यार odd number हो जाएगा तो फिर बहुत risk है. कोई ना कोई जीत जाएगा. अगर मैं पैसा देके हार गया, it feels very odd.
अगर मैं पैसे देके जीत गया, again it feels very odd. Hence, the number of matches cannot be odd. You play 1 match or 3 match, नहीं हो सकता. It has to be some even number, which is why 2 is safe. 4 होने से क्या है, कभी बारिश हो जाए. The probability of again creating a result at the end of the series becomes very high. So this is where the overall thought process of Jesa shines through. He thought about it. He thought that I will fund this series. I will send my players. I'll give an elegant, retirement plan for Elgar. Not just retirement, but plan post that as well, because he'll have his numbers looking much better than what it used to be before this series. So all of that were taken into consideration, and it was supposed to be a 1-1 match.
So basically, what you're saying, Iman, is that when Kotak sent the money, they said Kotak series, Dotak series.
Dotak series.
But somewhere in heaven, Don Bradman is asking God, why the fuck did you give me a jersey signed by Prasidh Krishna, basically, so that I could have crossed my 100 average and didn't have to live with this ignominy.
This is why I love Jesa so much. That guy thinks at least 50 years down. Clarity बहुत आई है उसको. वो शार्दुल और प्रसिद्ध दोनों को भेजा. भाई तुम दोनों जाओ. गलती से अगर उस
can we make a pact, Iman? Let's restrict it to Prasidh and Ashna, not Shardul, please.
He didn't even play. Okay, that's the whole point. This is exactly what I've been saying from the beginning. Khela hi nahi, and now he's the reason why Elgar got 100. What nonsense.
Shardul was basically the whole fact. The reason why we had Shardul is because risk नहीं ले सकते यार. यार.
Backup.
क्रिकेट में दोनों एंड से बॉलिंग होता है बराबर ना. एक एंड तो एक एंड से प्रसिद्ध बॉलिंग कर रहा है, दूसरे एंड से बुमराह लगा दिया, विकेट चला गया, फिर क्या करोगे? इतना बड़ा रिस्क है.
Got it.
तो फिर कैसे करना है उसको?
2-factor authentication. Superb. 2-factor safety.
करके हमने उधर से शार्दुल को डलवाया. वो आके वो खुद एल्गार आफ्टर दैट डे व्हेन ही वाज टॉकिंग टू द रिपोर्टर, ही वाज शॉक्ड. मैं ऐसा कवर ड्राइव खेल लेता हूँ, मैं ऐसा कट्स भी मार लेता हूँ. I can score at 90 का strike rate. He has never done it. And he made this statement to a reporter saying, boss, I really wish I played like this in my career. He's self-doubting now.
For all you know, he may have also spoken to, Cricket South Africa to say, listen, I know I said I would retire. I know I said that. But maybe we can work something out. What if I change my mind? This game has given me some new confidence.
Oh my God.
I think he got the fitting end though. He got 0 and 12 in his last test. So I think that was quite sad. But anyway, I'm just quite happy with him.
वो भी strategy था ना. Yeah. He shouldn't feel as if he has conquered the world. So Jesa also wants to control that bit. He's like, boss, ठीक दे दिया. तेरा कैप फट गया. अब सेकंड कैप, अब तेरे को दोबारा से कुछ नहीं देंगे. This is the last series, so let's end it. Right? ऐसा नहीं कि he then goes back to CSA, the point which PGK was making. Yeah, CSA, give me another farewell series. He didn't leave any of that to chance. So last second match में उसको खत्म कर दिया. So there's no way.
Super. Surgical strike.
खत्म, हाँ.
Oh man. Speaking of aging baggy greens, there is yet another man who's called it quits and also lost his baggy green in the process through some flights or hotels, and then he found it back. I'm not sure of the exact story. Brother T, do you know about Warner's baggy green missing and him finding it back and getting 2 guards of honor?
I think the only bit I know about the getting back is that they found it at the team hotel. So I'm guessing it got mixed up in the luggage or something like that. Probably needs like a Hercule Poirot level investigation to find out how that happened. But looks like nobody had taken it away in the first place. Like it wasn't luggage misplaced by the airline or something. So anyway,
actually, I'll tell you what I think. I actually think that his teammates did it on purpose. Somebody played a prank on it. Okay. No, I'll tell you why. It's like, I mean, of course, there is a whole thing, but there is actually this, the series of interviews that they do, these quick interviews that they do with like some Australian cricketers. I don't know if you've seen it it comes on Instagram reels for me. So it has like Pat Cummins, it has Usman Khwaja, it has like Mitch Marsh, all of these guys, and they keep asking them questions about their teammates. Okay, so one of the questions that they ask is, I remember this reel where they asked him who is the most annoying person to sit next to on a flight, right? And most people said only two options.
R. Ashwin.
Again, not even there. Anyway, so most people said David Warner, or they basically said Manas Labuschagne. They said these two are the most annoying guys. So they're not just annoying on the pitch, they're annoying. They don't want to sit next to them. And the reason they said for David Warner is because he's just very annoying. He just keeps bumping into you, won't let you do anything, etc. For Manas Labuschagne, everyone had a very specific reason not to sit next to him. It's a very weird and specific reason, which is they all looked at the camera and they were like, his eating habits are like shocking. Right. And then another person says, have you seen Manas eat? Usman Khwaja, have you seen him eat? It's like, I can't sit next to him. So I'm like, dude, what is this guy
Toasty sandwich in the pocket. If you remember.
Toasty sandwich in the pocket. I'm like, oh, okay, now suddenly it makes sense. So apparently this guy has a reputation of that. So yeah. Anyway. So I think that is why they just don't like.
Idhar bhi khayega, udhar bhi khayega.
So they decided to screw with it.
There is a similarity, okay, because wait one second. There's a similarity. People don't want to sit next to Warner because he makes TikTok videos of all that sort of stuff, head movements and all that sort of stuff. Correct. But people may not want to sit next to Ashna because he'll be making YouTube videos.
Again.
Like,
see, we are celebrating
omnipresent Ashna.
See, let me finish. Okay, let's see the place. See where all they will this thing. Okay, for the last fucking 2 BGT series, Ashwin has been taking out Warner like a surgical missile. Match after match, innings after innings. Even those 33 test, this thing they made before the World Cup, where they basically got Ashwin to say, oh, can you play ODI? We will find out. He took out Warner straight. He has Warner's number. And look, we are discussing Warner, and yet we will celebrate all of that. We expect Ashna to get Warner's wicket. But now let us make fun of Ashwin when Warner is retired. This is it. This is the attitude.
Anyway, I wanted to add one quick thing before you get into the cricket, that the reason I said...
No, there is no danger of that, brother. Take your time.
That the reason I said it requires a Hercule Poirot level investigation is because the Cricket Australia statement actually said that the bag was found, like I just want to read it out here. It says the bag in which they were packed was found at the team hotel with all the contents inside. The movements of the missing bag are unknown despite extensive searches and the review of CCTV footage at multiple locations and the efforts of numerous parties since Tuesday.
This legalese is brilliant, right? The movements of the bag are unknown. It seems like the bag has a life of its own. He's like, this bag also can't tolerate David Warner. I will grow legs and walk away. It seems nonsense. So, but the interesting thing was finally between when it was found and when it was lost, right? David Warner actually gave an offer saying, like, if you wanted my backpack, here I have a fresh backpack for you. You can take it. Right, and when it was finally found, and I think Peter Lawler, friend of pod, reported it on Twitter, the Australian crazies, the equivalent of Indian cricket Twitter, were asking Lawler, how can you support a crime like this? What is the crime that Warner is offering a bribe or a incentive for the thief? So that kind of elite honesty is happening in Australia. Iman Pandey, have you ever... sorry, Murali, go.
No, I think with jokes apart, we have to give a moment of maybe credit to Warner. Probably.
Hey, they gave him 2 guards of honor. Like,
like top 10 test opener of all time. Well, left-handed, at least. Probably top 20. Top 10 left-handed test openers of all time. I can't even think of many.
World or Australia?
Not Hayden. You wouldn't put Hayden in there?
Alastair Cook, Hayden. I'm not putting Elgar. I'm putting Warner, by the way. Elgar and all can wait. I'm talking about Warner. I think will definitely be there. They've scored a mountain of runs.
All-time global is tough. I think think of Australia all-time.
No, Fredericks.
But even Australia all-time, you have Hayden. So I don't know. Maybe.
If you start with the openers, right? Even before you say boo, you're talking Greenidge, Haynes, Fredericks. Gavaskar.
Only left-handed. Definitely only left-handed test openers.
It has
very tough on the all-time just test openers altogether, but on the left-handed test openers, I felt like the very small subset. Maybe Cook, Hayden, Strauss, and Warner will be there. Sorry?
Sadhgopan Ramesh,
Lanka?
guys. What are you saying?
I was waiting. I was waiting for Iman to say Sadgopan Ramesh.
Obviously.
But
I think it's
why
good.
is
Okay.
Gambhir
Iman,
not on
we
this
don't know
list?
where you're sitting. It looks
Oh.
like a distinctively TAM lobby of some sort.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that-
I'm in the lobby, TAM lobby only. Yeah. See, I told Sadhgopan Ramesh, but I didn't tell Gautam Gambhir. Yeah, हो गया. What do you
Permanently answer. No, but a great player, of course. Like no questions about that. And to come back from that whole sandpaper thing, whichever way you look at it, and to sort of, you know, either run a good PR campaign or turn it around and still be a World Cup winner and a WTC winner and whatever else, and a much beloved son of India at this point in time. I think pretty good to sort of turn it around, right? So
Actually,
Yeah, that-
reinvention
that
of
is-
Warner has been interesting.
after the
Exactly, that I agree.
after the sandpaper gate, I think the way Warner has come back, Smith hasn't been able to, by the way, if you think of it. Like he's not that he used to be.
No, it's not exactly that. I think the main thing was that when the sandpaper thing happened, I think it was pretty clear that they saw it as Smith is this good boy who just screwed up once. So just go do this thing, come back. And he was accepted almost immediately. In fact, he was never really rejected, I would argue. Smith was never rejected. He just said, go do this thing and come back. Fine, you're no longer captain. But it wasn't clear how they felt about Warner. Because I think for Warner, they were starting to think this guy is this derelict, like repeat offender. Because remember that time he was like very aggressive. He was a bit of a trouble, this thing. So I thought this guy is a repeat offender. Obviously, like, you know, just a class where you find this one day, like, ha, tu nahi isko bigada hoga. Okay, so they were like quite this thing with Warner. I don't think it was pretty clear that they would accept Warner. And I
मतलब
think he had to
correlation
work
or
really hard
causality.
to get here.
Correlation or causality, Smith's results or scores or records after that event hasn't been as a pre and post A/B test as a product manager. If you do to prove any data point, I will be to say
So to PGK's point, I had two young cousins who were both rowdy boys. Okay, so the elder one is Vishal and the younger one is Akhil, and you always know that the younger one is up to no good. So whenever any elder calls him, they're like Akhile, and he's like "Njanilla Chetna," which means it's not me, it's my elder brother. Like his standard response. Warner was that kind of character. But yeah.
But he's had a
Hank,
really
you had a like pretty much a line in the sand. No, I don't think you were like very keen on inducting them back into the Australian fold. Even
no,
post
not that.
sandpaper.
No. The line in the sand was simply this: that there was talk of whether Smith would get captaincy again. And there, you know, the Australians are very, very clear. Once you've done that, you're never going to be a captain again of the national team. You're just done. Trust is gone. And to win trust back into the system was very, very hard for Cricket Australia. And they worked incredibly hard. And that's where the test series on, Amazon started. They wanted to get someone into the dressing room to win back the audiences that they felt they'd lost because of Sandpaper Gate. There are a couple of things that happened as a result of this. I think one is, I feel that Cameron Bancroft has received a very sad, raw end of the deal as a result of that. He was the junior player in the trifecta that was affected in this. The senior superstars, Warner and Smith, have gone on and been reinducted into the team. They served a very lengthy ban. And my point is simply this: once you've served your time, you're done. You come back. And the time that CA gave these players was much larger than the ICC prescribed time. So all of that, I was okay with that. The only point is there was some chatter about Smith regaining captaincy, and that's when I drew a line in the sand. I mean, the line in the sand that Australian public in general drew was very much hard line anyway. The thing that happened is Cameron Bancroft is scoring a mountain of runs, and it comes back to this whole thing about Sandpaper Gate and all that sort of stuff. Recently, and this goes to Iman's point, so recently Smith is not having a great time with the bat. He's actually done well post his comeback into the team. He's actually done well if you look at the stats. But recently,
Yeah,
it
he had
looks
a
like
couple
he's
of major Ashes series.
Major Ashes series, right? But just off late, he's gone off the boil, and people are saying that he's not got challenges. There's a much of muchness about his batting, sort of bored and stuff like that. So he's put his hand up to open. Again, Cameron Bancroft is being shafted. And that's, this is exactly what's happening. So
Smith has now said he'll open, right? That's right.
he said yesterday, he said that he's ready. He's putting his hand up to open. From his point of view, I think he just wants new challenges to motivate himself to do things that he hasn't done before.
But first conquer existing challenge. No, like you can't be like doing badly and then say give me.
Well, in his view, I don't know. This is what the commentators are saying over here. I was listening to Tim Lane yesterday on the Combox, and he was saying it's probably him saying I need more different challenges, not conquering existing challenges. He just needs different challenges. But the sad part of it, the irony is there is Cam Bancroft is being shafted again.
And Smith hasn't been out of form at all. Where has he been out of form? He came back with a bang in their Ashes, then scored runs against India in WTC as well. Then again in the Ashes, he scored runs. Only this series he's been a little tame because to beat Pakistan, nobody really needed to bat. Whoever wanted to score runs can come and score and go. So he was like other people score, normal plebs and all can come bat. But apart from that, I think he's been like really amassing runs on the side. But
I think that perception is also because of the World Cup. So in the World Cup, he had a very okay World Cup. I think that's also
even the BGT was in great shakes. No? WTC
correct.
one.
That's also right. Scored. That's also correct.
He got a big 100.
In Sydney or something. No?
Again, you're saying BGT. That's in India.
No, the Australia one. India one, like, it doesn't matter.
But I think he's still been scoring. The WTC 100 was also pretty good. I think he's been scoring runs against India. He's been hurting us as much as he can. But I do agree that Cameron Bancroft got a big. It's the perfect example of shoot the messenger I've seen. Where two people said, hey, you go rub that ball with that thing. Okay. And then you go get arrested. That's all. It's like these two. I understand they did their time and all. But it looked like they were never gone. That I agree with PGK and Mohan that when Smith and Warner came back in the recent past, we don't remember this sandpaper gate at all right now. Like everybody's like crying over Warner being such a legend. And I think that part they did really well on the PR front.
Yeah. Well, we must also.
And the best outcome of the sandpaper gate. Fine, Bancroft got shafted. But again, like Tony said, because there is balance of the universe on the other side, they got Pat Cummins as captain. So I guess this is where this is the bargain.
No, but it's easy to forget that there were two teams and some cricket that happened in Australia as well. Let's bring in Brother T. What was the cricket like? I think Pakistan did better than all of us expected, right?
I mean, they did better, but as if our resident Pakistan cricket expert were here, Zainab mentioned that I think they could never string together long enough sessions of sort of like sustained momentum to really challenge, because a lot of big moments they literally and figuratively drop the ball. Because there's catches.
Big time.
My God.
Good one, nice one.
So I think that made a big difference, and I remember Zainab pointing out on Twitter that when they got Australia all out in both innings, I think in the first test, that was the first time they had got them all out in both innings. Since I think 2006 or something like that. I forget the exact year, but and as we know, they've had like a really checkered history with trying to win a test in Australia. They haven't been quite able to since I think 1995. So
28 tests or something like that. A long gap between
it's a really long stretch. So I think what I felt was that they kept getting better because they had gone in there with a relatively uncertain 11. I think a couple of injuries also did not help their cause. Selection, as usual with PCB, it's difficult to figure out the logic behind a lot of the selections. And by the time they kind of got into that position where they were figuring out their 11, or they had a couple of breakthrough performers come through, like Amit Jamal and throughout the series, it was far too late for them to put something together. I think their best chance was yesterday when Babar was batting, and honestly, Babar's shot kind of summed up everything, that there is just 20 odd minutes left to stumps, and Travis Head is bowling. And he tried to go for an extravagant sort of drive outside off stump, ended up edging to carry to a great catch, and then again a quick period of mayhem followed. where you had that 4 or 5
I
wickets.
think the world collectively took a dump and then came back and found out the 3 wickets were gone the next over.
My God. Yeah, so in terms of logic and balance, right? On one side, there is a PCB printed circuit board. On the other side, there is a Pakistan cricket board, right? Like at the opposite ends of logic. But I'll just read out Zainab's tweet summarizing this series. She's attached a GIF, which is Victory Screech. And she says, "We lost the Benoit Kadir trophy, but here's all the other trophies we won. Positives trophy, no innings defeats like last over trophy, first innings lead trophy, 20 wickets in a game trophy, no double 100 for Warner trophy, and moral and psychological victory trophy." So yeah, I think yeah.
Okay, you lost these 3 tests. We can analyze why you lost these 3 tests. I think that doesn't matter. I think the more important thing that I'm trying to think is that how is it that Pakistan have not won even one test match ever in Australia, or at least they're not won since like what 90 something, right? Why is that? I'm just trying to understand. It's not like the teams. Okay, fine. The current team you can say is in a certain transitional, but that's not the case earlier. What happened? Maybe did they barely play?
Sounds like a question for Iman.
Why is it, Iman? Don't give me the statistical reason. Okay, tell me your this thing. What is तेरा ये क्या कहता है? बोलो, दिल क्या कहता है? Why is it that Pakistan can't win in Australia? Is it something mental?
Not enough
Their
money.
head? Yeah, or is BCCI responsible for this also? Does Jessa have a plan here? Okay.
While Iman is thinking up his answer, because I can see him, his mind is, he's computer
gears
work
are
kar raha hai.
turning.
His computer, exactly, gears are turning.
Add into backlog.
I completely blame BCCI for this.
Yeah.
I was going there. Yes.
Oh, okay, then please go.
See, the logical answer to that is to defeat Australia in any test match. You need to play well for 5 days. ऐसा नहीं कि एक दिन अच्छा खेला तुम जीत जाओगे. So that is the logical answer. And Pakistan obviously will Pakistan themselves on some day, some session. Obviously, they can't play 5 days of good cricket. So that is the logical answer. So keeping that aside, and that, by the way, hasn't changed since 90s or 80s, from time immemorial, right? But the other answer to that is, if Pakistan starts winning, what will happen to India? Will you ever talk about Gabba ka Ghamand? You will never talk about that, right? So it is all funded by BCCI. BCCI is ensuring that Pakistan never wins, so that even if we win or even if we draw a series, it feels like conquering Venus, right? That's how it feels then. So it is all devised and managed by Jessa, and before that, some other Shahs who were there. Pakistan can never win a series, or sorry, forget series. Pakistan can never win any test match in Australia. It is impossible, right? So yeah, that is just कि यार मैं अच्छा नहीं खेल रहा, which is okay. Sorry, मैं अच्छा नहीं खेल रहा कैसे मान लूं? इसीलिए तुमको भी अच्छा नहीं खेलने दूंगा ताकि I still feel good about it. So that is the strategy which we are applying. We will not let Pakistan win, and in case we win one test match, we will say that Bharat Mata ki jai. And Gabba ka Gabba ka Ghamand.
Yeah, nice. So only one board in the world can outthink the BCCI, and that is the England Cricket Board, who are preparing for a tour to India. And Iman, the way they are preparing for a tour to India is that they've selected a team of chefs to accompany the English team to not get caught up in the
Tony,
dietary.
that is completely logical. Completely logical. You want to know the logic of this one?
Yeah,
I'll tell you the logic.
Fiber, is it?
No,
Easy to take a
not
dump.
moral fiber or
Don't
any
take a
fiber of
dump.
that sort. The fiber is gone. With baseball, fiber itself, moral fiber is gone. Okay. The reason behind this is, England team just rushes after all these fluffy words, baseball, ye, wo, right? Spirit of cricket, baseball and all. So this is completely in sync with their thinking around how they can win in India. The last time England did well in India was when Cook was playing well.
He's graduated now.
That's it. So now they've got Cooks.
Oh my God. So bad and so funny.
Well, so I think this is a 5-test match series. So Mohan, 2 tests against South Africa, but 5 tests against England at home. So
Way too many.
finally, as Max has said,
Five-
not PGK this time. Ashwin can go past 519 wickets.
He will definitely go past 519. By the way, this is interesting. As per the current WTC table, this second from the top is playing second from the bottom. This is exactly that series.
Yes.
And
Top?
India's got
Top is
India's
Australia.
Top is Australia.
After
As
the
of
win.
today.
Top?
After the win, after today, top is Australia. India is number 2. England is at number 8.
That table also, I don't know which table you are referring to. Hank. Which JPEG you are looking at?
No. You're talking about the overrate fines table. That
Okay.
India is on. No, Pakistan is on top
that
there.
England is
Actually,
leading.
England is leading. Pakistan is second, so India is third, I think. So that's also there. Okay.
There are on Twitter itself, right? There are so many JPEG and PNG variants of that table. It goes crazy.
I check the live one. No, this one. This is it.
See,
Can you see?
This is Cricinfo version. Okay.
this is the one.
Huh.
Yeah, exactly. India
is
is number 2 and England is number 8. So
Yeah,
second
and if
from
you
the
want to
bottom.
see how it has progressed, you can see Australia has played 8 matches. India has played only.
Oh, there
Four.
seems to be logic here. Okay. I
Correct.
was thinking a kid is drawing something somewhere.
So India actually went from 16 to 14 because they
Product
lost 2
manager
points for the
manager
overrates.
say good things about the UX. UX के बारे में कुछ अच्छा बोलो.
Oh, बहुत बढ़िया. Oh, क्या color coding दिया है? वो blue. Must.
Cows, come back to the pod, yeah, please. Okay. So aligned now, India is second and
India is second. So to the question that we were asking, why 5 matches? Yeah, come on. ये तो बहुत easy है ना.
बताओ
कैसे होगा? How else will we, stat pad appropriately?
हाँ. Ashwin
No,
519.
I'm actually one second. I'm really happy it is a 5-test series. Okay, I should of course leave that for the side, but I'm saying I'm really happy simply because this will be a great opportunity to get a team to India. Because I don't think anyone has ever played a 5-test series in a while in India, right? It's usually a 4-test series.
England would have
sorry.
been the last one.
With England last time,
played
yeah.
five.
But England
Yeah.
last time did this thing where they played like 2 tests in Chennai, 2 tests in Ahmedabad. So this time we are prolonging the agony. Okay, we're taking them to different places and showing different people. See, we are going to beat them. You all come and watch. Okay, which is good. I like that. Okay, we should also take, greater hits. You should take to tier 2 cities and other places. People should also experience this. So it's fine. I hope they prolong the agony. It will be a very nice thing. At the end of it,
No,
they
but
only
let's
want to
do
go back.
the coda to the Rohit Sharma rant about pitches in South Africa. What are you expecting for these 5 tests? Is it going to be like puff of dust? Rohit Sharma doing puff of dust was worth the price of admission. But what do you think?
Murali.
Test matches, 5 test matches finishing in a total of 10 days. Is that what we're looking at?
I definitely think this time, if the test happens, the only sort of different pitch we can see is the Dharamshala. If they don't move it to indoor, there is a good opportunity. Dharamshala can give some opportunity for the English pacers. And if ever in his life Anderson wants to at least bowl that one ball that swings away and gets the Indian batsman out, his best chance is probably on that Dharamshala pitch. Everywhere else are probably like 2-day Akshar Patel undercutters only, where he's just going to come and dig his way through the pitch and find like 10 wickets a day. And Johnny Bairstow will wonder, dude,
Johnny Bairstow.
He'll be like, I could bend as much as I can, but if the ball goes underground, I can't do anything. Sorry, I got bowled. And then every other batsman is coming down the pitch. Like Ollie Pope is finally coming down the pitch and getting stumped when he didn't see the ball in any part of the air. So those things are going to happen. But apart from that, I still think India are capable of losing 1 test. If they wanted to, I think they'll give a chance to lose 1 test simply because India will overthink baseball. They will think at least 1 game they're going to bring baseball, except the England team themselves don't know what they're really going to bring. But I think India are capable
Hey,
of...
they're bringing chefs there.
Yeah.
Chefs.
So the one person who actually has predicted, surprisingly, is Michael Vaughan. Michael Vaughan, who generally says random shit all the time. Michael Vaughan, actually, he basically said, somebody asked him, like, what do you think is going to happen to England and India in baseball? He was like, yeah, it actually is possible. They might do well because it's a great thing. I'm a big fan of baseball and all. But in India, you will get destroyed. So he has said, we are going to get destroyed in India. And they're like, and the was like, why? He's like, see, think about it. In the Ashes, we had like 5 tests in England. It was a very good test series. Everybody loved it. It was amazing and all that. But first 2 tests, they had Lion and they won 2-0. Then Lion gets injured. Then after that, England win the next 2. And then, of course, or they win the loses this thing. So Lion was out at that time. After that is when England start winning. When they in Australia don't have a spinner anymore. So Michael Vaughan is like, this is India. This is their pitches. They don't have 1 spinner. They have 3. We will get destroyed, I think. So,
Yeah, who will be the wicket keeper in this series?
Oh, yeah, this is an interesting one.
Iman, I am suggesting, just for the sake of your reaction, I think Ishan Kishan will be the wicketkeeper.
Yeah.
No. They'll play the same team.
Which team?
No, I think Bharat might get a chance. No, 5 tests
now
you
Iman
want
will
to subject
on.
KL Rahul to squats.
mean,
Bharat?
I think they'll do it. I actually think they'll do. Who will they drop?
First of all, KL Rahul,
Shreyas.
it's okay that he keeps
They are
they
not going
will
to drop.
Shreyas
They are
in
not
India.
dropping Shreyas in India. They are going to take the same
Agreed.
team. Absolutely. They're going to absolutely
Yeah.
take the same team.
Guys,
No, but their thing will be you can, well, Gill or Yashasvi, one of them you can drop, actually.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Get Rohit to open.
No.
Rohit is
All
opening,
that's not
nah.
happening. KL is not keeping wickets. I think, unfortunately, it is a toss-up between KL and Shreyas for spot. They have to bring a specialist wicketkeeper for spinning wickets.
No, it
Or
won't be a toss-up between KL and Shreyas. Both will play in India.
I think
Okay.
definitely
Yeah,
Shreyas and
it's
KL
okay.
both
But then
have to
one
play.
other, but then you have to go with 4 bowlers. That's the only other option.
That's possible. You need only Ashwin and Jadeja.
Yeah.
Like, you can
That's
play
it.
9 batters also.
Yeah, Bumrah and maybe one
Yeah,
other
Bumrah
medium
won't
pacer
be
at
playing
best.
fight. I think he'll be rested for the
guys,
entire.
who will
Yeah.
keep? Is it? I'm tensed. Is it KS Bharat?
It's like, just give me the final.
We are
You
figuring
do.
the rest of the team, and Iman is like, but wait, who is the main character? मतलब side load, मतलब main character कौन है?
Wicket keeping. It is.
Yeah,
it
but
is
actually,
not
it's
KS,
possible. Spinning pitch. Yeah,
Saha
it's
ko
possible.
leke ao.
Yeah, the last
Where is
No,
the
Bharat will
West
play.
Bengal lobby?
the last player who,
Saha ko keeping
last
do.
keeper
Wait.
last keeper we took to West Indies was Ishan, by the way.
Correct. West Indies, anyone can go in. Brother T, what is your thought on this?
So I would also think KS Bharat to be brought in, but that conundrum remains that who do you replace to get him in? I think they might even take the call of possibly replacing KL, or KL might make that easier by picking up a mysterious injury in between. Both things can happen.
No.
But
They'll play the same squad for the first test at least. I mean, maybe Shami
Anyway,
bowlers. I'm
so
not
before
sure,
all
but-
this, there is some, I think, T20 series with Afghanistan, which is
Yeah.
coming.
there is
hopefully
one, and
Sanju Samson will get to play because
We will
it is
get
another series like West Indies where. What is it? Empathy level? Is that what you called it, Iman?
Yeah.
Last time.
Is this this Afghanistan series is an empathy series? No, yeah. This is
Empathy.
a very serious series.
Serious.
Very serious series.
So what are we trying to find out?
Here,
Yeah.
whom do we give the next citizenship from Afghanistan?
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
I just wanted to point it out one thing about this, the Afghanistan series promos. I think Geo Cinema is doing them, and they are positioning India as the Goliath of T20s. Like David is coming to Goliath's den, it seems. So I find it extremely hilarious of the positioning of the Indian T20 team as some Goliath in the world of T20s.
Is the squad already announced for the series?
No, I think
It will
tomorrow.
be like a
venues
Bihar
announced.
11. There will
Huh?
be 11 people who are. There will be no connection to anybody. You will see names that India has never seen. 11 people will turn up on that pitch. There will be an entirely different team practicing in the NCA or somewhere for an actual India cricket.
By the way, Rohit and Virat have both said that the Indian Express reported yesterday have both told the BCCI that they're available for selection for T20 games.
पागल है ये
Number one.
दोनों? ये क्या है?
कब चाहिए भाई?
Yeah,
कब
they need
चाहिए?
a cup on their resume.
Yeah, but Afghanistan. By the way, this series Afghanistan will win. Sadbhavna series.
Come on, let's go. All right, let's go to Brother T for there was some women's action also this week, right? India,
There was
Australia.
very contrasting results in between weeks. I think the last time you recorded, India were about to play the ODI series. They lost the ODI series 3-0 against the Australia women. One ODI that was eminently winnable, but we messed up the chase eventually. Another two where we got outclassed, especially the last one where they, I think, put 330 plus and India lost by about 190 runs or so. So there was quite a hiding. Given all that, the first T20 took place yesterday and very impressive win because number one, Australia don't often lose at this level. T20s and ODIs, they have very rarely lost. In fact, I think this was the first time Australia have been all out in a T20I, the Australia women's team, since the 2020 World Cup.
Oh, so we're getting real victory and moral victory.
Yeah, exactly.
Multiple
So when the
points.
last team who got them out was, well, guess what? India. So this was fantastic to see. Also because finally the think tank, team management, whatever you want to call them, are taking calls that seem to be moving the needle forward a little for some of these players. We played Tita Shadu, the pacer who broke through in the under-19 tournament. So she had a terrific spell, took 4 wickets, 3 in the first 2 overs or something, which really kind of set Australia back and they put like a below par score. But another great thing to see was Smriti Mandhana and Shefali Verma getting stuck into the Australian bowlers. The chase turned out to be a fairly easy one because with this Indian team, everybody is always jittery about chases because they have messed up quite a few chases over the last. I mean, the Commonwealth Games final one, everybody remembers. Not to mention again against Australia, the one in the World Cup semi-final as well. So I think this was a very refreshing change of pace that way. There seem to be these. I think Shriyanka Patil has been a fantastic breakthrough again. Tita Shadu is a great breakthrough. Shefali Verma finding form. And if the rest of them are solid, I actually before the start of the series, I sort of said that early board call India are going to win this series, which given Australia's record was quite the call. So, and now that I mentioned
it's like
on BNP,
BNP
it was
jinx, yeah.
Goliath. We
yeah, this is the reverse. This is the reverse Goliath. David calling Goliath in. But I mean, now that I mentioned it on BNP, I don't know how that will play out. But we should know tomorrow.
Amazing. On the pitches bit, we didn't speak about it exclusively, but what is your take? Like Robro has gone like full on aggro saying that this and the other, but in general, I think like it's really bad for Test cricket, right? Everyone's sort of digging up pitches saying like this is the best way to like win at home for us. I think on average it is really bad for the viewer. If tests are not lasting 4 days, then it's terrible.
Yeah, and I don't think there is such a big distinction between the Indian team saying that, you know what, the pitches are bad, they shouldn't be like this, that is why we lost, blaming the pitch, versus calling attention to the pitch like this repeatedly. I mean, repeatedly as in they called this out over here. They took a shot at match referees. They basically tried to vaccinate themselves against people saying this about them.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much of a distinction between this. Like the Indian team is saying again and again that we're not blaming the pitches, but I'm saying the first part doesn't matter because what you're really saying is, I mean, that also is a problem, right? I mean, that also is not going to be good for Test cricket, as you said. You're right. I agree that that's not good for Test cricket.
But I have a different way to look at this. See, Test cricket.
Of course you do. Go on.
See, Test cricket anyway, right, is under threat for whatever reasons.
It is dying.
It is dying.
So this is a very good way to keep Test cricket alive. How? And by the way, we apply this strategy even in our work. So, for example, if you go to an engineer and say, "Hey, this is a bug," he will not work on it. So you rename that as a feature, and he'll work on it, and he'll get it done. So what you do is here in this case, because test cricket is dying, so what do? You make test cricket look like ODI, but it is test cricket, right? But test cricket is not dying then. This is a masterpiece which these boards have come up with. They're not letting test cricket die because they're making test cricket look like ODI. Sometimes they'll make it look like a T20s. Like the four T20 things, like 4 into 25 overs. That is where we will eventually land up. But then we will still call it test cricket. But test cricket will not die. That's another way to look at this.
Yeah.
But on a serious note, I don't think I've heard Indian teams complain about pitches when they've traveled. So that let's take that as
I'm saying I agree with you. I'm saying I agree with you. But I'm saying but that is not the flex that you think it is.
Correct. Exactly.
Correct. No, I accept that. The only thing that I'm saying is that I think BCCI is trying to, because there are on the same day two senior players have come out and openly attacked the match referees. Talking about umpires and referees, you generally don't do that. You as a cricketer, you generally refrain from talking about ICC, match referees, umpires. So I think there's some sanction happening over here where BCCI wants to see the end of this. Robro makes a very calculated statement that says, where is the scorecard that these referees use for assessing pitches? I want to see it. So they're basically calling out the opaqueness that exists in the entire system around.
No, which is fair,
pitches.
right? I think like on average, I don't know
what
happens.
Wait. Let's go back to the next statement that he makes after that. And that's where I think Jessa comes into the picture magnificently. The next statement that he makes there is saying, how did the World Cup final get a poor rating? In fact, he made a mistake by calling it a below average rating. It only got an average rating.
Yeah.
But that's how BCCI has processed it. हमारे नरेंद्र मोदी स्टेडियम को आपने ब्लैक मार्क दे दिया तो हम आपको ठोक देंगे. Right? This is how it's going, right? Two players have come out saying openly that scorecard, we need to see it. Transparency dikha do hame, right? And I think it's a fair call.
Yeah, it is like
but the
fair and lovely
interesting.
fairness chart.
Sorry,
I'll just say, I'll just say, I mean, the final thing is a fair thing. Okay, that's a very interesting. But the most interesting thing about it is that it's at least like a lot of people talking about it, even like Jared Kimber on his podcast, somebody had asked him about their final and said that, do you think India rigged those pitches? And he had quoted sort of like sources close to the Indian team, within the Indian team, who were kind of like telling him that this was not the kind of pitch we wanted, right? So somebody kind of like overruled us and did it. We're not really sure who really gave the orders, what, etc. But we know that this is not what we wanted, right? Which is also why when Dravid goes in to talk to the BCCI after this, when the review happens, the newspapers leak. The newspapers leak the point that Dravid goes and says the reason we lost was the pitch. Screw you. All right. So the message was sent.
No, but PGK, the incentives are very different, right? If
exactly.
Robro wants
exactly
to continue as captain and wants to win another or have a shot at winning the T20 World Cup. Yeah.
Correct. That is the striking part. So Robro has picked his battle. I said, chalo, this side fight now.
Yeah. He said, if I want to be captain, I need blessings of secretary, not president, like the Bihar players missed out. So, aligned.
Imagine India sending another 11.
Being such a controlling body.
And Ashwin will not be there in neither team. Okay, so anyway, it's fine. Let's continue.
Oh, man. Ashwin and Sanju doing that thing like Kohli and Gill. Sorry, Murali, you were saying something.
No, I was just surprised that even if they say we are a body that controls the game and all that, we had one job to doctor it and we doctored it badly. Like, how stupid should we be that they told us, hey, remember to get the pitch we would like, and they forgot that one job. And I don't think Robro is complaining more, like he's asking, at least do your cheating job properly. You are cheating. You tell me you're going to let us win. Don't make us lose the World Cup to Pat Cummins. That just looks too horrible on my
And it's a future forward-looking statement also. 5 tests are coming in England. You better see what these guys have done.
That's the other thing.
Correct. So the people who should be worried the most are England, actually. South Africa, fine. Pitch reporter, fine. England should be looking, oh, fuck. Johnny Bairstow should be like, oh, Lord, I know it's coming, dude.
Yeah, you had one job and you did this poorly wala cheez se yaad aaya. ये शान मसूद ने अमीर जमाल को बॉलिंग क्यों नहीं दिया? क्या नहीं किया?
Wow.
Yeah. I think
Different universe.
Hafiz said later that he should have come on to bowl earlier. पहले देना चाहिए था, but for whatever reasons.
Good analysis.
So we had one job, यार, शान मसूद. मतलब
We
Hey,
need
talking
one
of one
episode.
jobs-
One sec. We need an episode with Zainab. Otherwise, we will talk like this only about that test match.
But talking of one jobs, Hafiz put a rule saying no player can be late.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He came late to the flight.
Oh, wait. No, set it up properly.
Oh,
Murali,
you
start
know,
from the top.
nice. Nice.
So you remember, right? Pakistan are a new Pakistan. They have a new director, new discipline, new culture, which is built towards winning and setting up the foundational structure. Rule number one of the structure and foundation is no player, no matter how big you are, I don't care what authority you bring to the table, you cannot be late. Mohammad Hafiz says the players are peeing their pants. There is threat. Everybody's like cowering in their spots. Okay. Mohammad Hafiz says everybody should be on time. And then he comes late to the airport, misses his flight. He didn't make it to the test. I was like, what is up with this guy, man? Like, imagine what kind of an idiotic board you should be. Try and set standards and the director can't meet it.
Oh, man. Epic.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I think
don't talk
that
about why
sums up
Pakistan.
sums up
Pakistan,
Pakistan.
exactly.
Like, yeah. It is a beautiful metaphor. All right. I think on that note,
spots on pants reminded me of Prasidh Krishna as well.
Oh my God.
Elgar's autograph buddy.
we have reached the point at which we should flush this podcast. Uh, thank you for joining us on episode 105. As we mentioned in the intro, we are into our third year and continuing to do this. This is fun for us, but it'll be even more fun if you tell a few friends about us and get them also to listen. Till then, rate us 5 stars on Spotify, Apple, leave a review. It actually helps get our podcast discovered. On episode 5, this is me, Tony, with Murali, Prasidh, Tareque, Praveen, new entrant Iman, and Hank sir, who's still here, even though it is past midnight in Australia, saying bye. Say bye, guys.
Bye.
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 Hopefully, Rohit will also say rate us 5 stars to the pitches that are made in India.
Nice.
Brilliant.
Nice.
Chalo.
Nice.
All right.
Fun.
Cool.